All right, let's do this.
Welcome to Origin of Species 2021.
Wait, what show is this?
Origin of Species.
Yeah. And
I was gonna say Hollywood. We're on fire.
We're gonna have fun tonight. All right, Steve. What's happening? What is this?
This is the Origin of Species 2021 Hollywood. Damn it, Halloween Spectacular.
That's right.
On the way to the second, well, not really scary place, but our second place, Red Lobster.
Wait, what? So the original plan was to go to the scariest place in Richmond, which was
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Scariest place everywhere. And especially we have one picked out that is extra scary. But we also, I think, rightfully realized that there's high potential that we would be recording our own murders.
Right. Well, and I think Steve was concerned that I was going to sneak out and get another big bite. Not that I eat big bites. Because
I shamed you sufficiently, I think, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That you don't, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as you know, I haven't had a big bite in 16 years. So we're going to the Red Lobster. Mm-hmm. So, Steve, what's your relationship, if I may ask, with Red Lobster?
So Red Lobster, growing up in Virginia Beach, was one of the places that was a formal dining place for us if something good happens. It was Red Lobster and Bennigan's to show how classy I was.
I'll tell you right now, I would sell my birthright for a Bennigan's Monte Cristo right now.
Oh, those were awesome.
I don't think I have a birthright, though.
If you did, it would be worth selling for.
Yes. So when we were kids, it was like, okay, so rank order these in terms of fanciness. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give you a few here.
I like the word fancy too, just to show how spectacularly classy we are.
Absolutely. I mean, these were like, we're not trying to be. Well, we're always trying to be a little funny, but I'm not making a joke. These were the classiest. But I want you to rank them, with one being the most fancy. So we got Olive Garden, Red Lobster, Bennigan's, Chi-Chi's. I'm trying to think of a fifth one. Chili's.
Chili's. So I would say, growing up, Bennigan's and Red Lobster are like 1A, 1B. It could go either way. And the rest of them, Chi-Chi's, I don't think I had Mexican food till I was like 20 years old. I think I was scared of everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Which reminds me that you and I broke that streak back when we used to work together. We used to do a weekly Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was when we worked together or after we worked together.
I think it was both.
All right, you'll see Red Lobster approaching on your left.
Yeah.
The only other time I've been to Red Lobster is once in my life, and it was with your parents and your brother, and I don't think you were there. Mm-hmm. But it sticks out in my mind, number one, because I was in middle school. And again, Red Lobster was classy, but I was a little nervous. I'd never been there. And we didn't really eat seafood in our house, unless you count fish sticks, which you probably shouldn't, as seafood. So I didn't know what to do. I was a little nervous. How am I supposed to eat seafood? I was afraid they were going to just put a Red Lobster out, and I was going to have to figure out some way to crack it open. Instead, what happened was, I remember sitting at a table with your parents and your brother, and maybe you. I don't think so. I think you may have been in college already.
Yeah,
because you're way older than me. Like, we're going to die on the way here.
That's all right.
All right. Oh my gosh. Oh, good Lord. By the way, I wonder if we're anywhere near, what's the fest they have here? Like Crab Fest or something?
Shrimp Fest?
Shrimp Fest? I don't know. They have a lot of fests.
Lobster Fest?
I try to put it on my calendar, much like
like when McRib comes back?
Exactly. So here's what I remember before we enter. The last time I was at Red Lobster, sitting at a table with your family. Mm-hmm. Not saying they liked me better, just saying I was there.
Yeah. They at that time in my life, they probably did like you better, and I don't blame them.
We probably said a prayer for you.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, as we're sitting there, and I'm nervous on what to order and everything else, you ever have that moment where you're with a group of people and you smell a fart and you all start kind of looking around and there's an understanding that we all smell this, but then there's also that little like, it wasn't me face as well. So it's sort of like, you smell that, right? Mm-hmm. We all smell it, but we all are kind of doing that little head shake of like, okay.
Right.
So we're sitting there, everyone smells, and it's really bad too. It's not like one that you feel like, I can get through this. It was awful.
Okay.
Couple minutes pass. Then we hear the sound of a fart being ripped. Look over the table closest to us. There's a man in his 40s who's clearly just farted. And both of your parents break into laughter. And then your mom is like telling your dad, like, stop laughing, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
And he's laughing. And this poor guy gets up and walks away. And we are all looking at each other. And I just remember that your mother saying something to the effect of, he's got a medical issue. Like, we shouldn't be laughing at him, but yet they are both still laughing.
But she was also the one that laughed first, knowing my mom.
Always.
Too. Yeah.
She laughed first, got your dad going, but then she was able to sort of pull it together and say, this poor guy has a medical issue. And I'll never forget that moment. Do I remember what I ate? Absolutely not. Yeah. And that was in probably 1994 or something like that. So I have not been back to a Red Lobster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have not been back to a Red Lobster. So I don't know what curiosities may await me within.
I'll tell you, Cheddar Bay Biscuits.
Oh, okay. Which I've heard tell.
I had to do one more thing here before we go in. So my experience as an adult. So I think the last time I remember in the 90s going, it was, I wonder if she listens to us, Jennifer Jenkins was getting married.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up going to Red Lobster instead because I wanted Cheddar Bay Biscuits. And she's never spoken to me since her wedding.
That's hilarious.
And I don't know if she knows that I went. Maybe it'd make her feel better if she heard this and knows that I went to Red Lobster because I like some Cheddar Bay Biscuits. But I had a streak in the last at my previous employer. Every now and then I'd like to mix it up and like, guys, it's a Red Lobster day. Yeah. And everyone would complain and we would be worried if we could get in or not. I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But once you get those biscuits, they're pretty good. Okay. They're almost worth it. So let's go in.
Let's go in and
find out.
I can't wait. I'm also excited about the idea of a Lobsterita and whether or not there are like actual chunks of lobster in the Lobsterita.
This lady.
Thank you.
This is almost as fancy as like Alphabet.
Oh. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're doing like a working dinner. Is it just if we could be like put in a corner or something so we don't bother other people with a work jibber jabber? Hi, thank you so much.
I think we should wait till we have Lobsteritas.
Hey,
hello, how are you?
How are you?
My name is Kevin. I'll be taking care of y'all this evening.
Awesome.
And let's start the gentleman with some drinks.
I will have a water and one Lobsterita, please.
Gotcha.
I will have the same, please.
Gotcha. No problem. Did y'all want to order any starters?
Do we order the biscuits separate?
No, that's cool.
Oh, I think I'm just going to get some biscuits first.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
So, all right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So as we're waiting for Cheddar Bay Biscuits, what's our first idiom of the night?
All right, we're going to start with skeletons in the closet. So,
awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, but first, I have to have Cheddar Bay Biscuits for the first time ever.
Yes.
So let's do that. Break off. I feel like having a whole one is too much, so I'm just going to break a little one off.
Well, that's yours now because you clawed it like a bear.
Well, yeah, all those bear jokes are paying off. Wow, that's buttery. That is delicious. All right, well, while we're enjoying these biscuits, let's start with skeleton in the closet. So that's one I've wanted to do for a while, but it's, you got to do it on the Halloween episode. Can't be just a regular episode, and here we are at the Spooktacular. So skeleton in the closet is, from Merriam-Webster, something bad or embarrassing that has happened in someone's past and that is kept secret. And that's how I grew up thinking about it. Like, for some reason, don't ask me why, I remember thinking this one about, like, professors or teachers or pastors, like, somehow seeming like they're these great people, but having a skeleton in the closet.
Right.
And I don't know why I thought about it that way, but it actually makes sense.
Because of the type of pastors you grew up in front of,
who
all had skeletons in the closet. Probably was a huge factor.
That actually, it's right in front of me. Of course, that's why. But I guess everyone they say everyone has a skeleton in the closet. I also, as I was researching this, found a lot of articles where journalists were talking about, like companies are saying like this acquisition looks good, but after going through the books, it looks like, you know, whatever corporation has some skeletons in their closet, you know, so whatever that may end up meaning. So it's got good utility to it. I thought I would confront you right now over these biscuits and ask you if you'd like to take this opportunity to share any skeletons you have in your closet.
Right. It's a good place to do it too, because I feel like if I did really have anything to share, I'd have people here on my side that could help me like get out of here or get a gun illegally. No, actually no. I live my life fairly boring and bland. You know, almost whatever people probably think of me listening to me, like I'm that excited. You know, I'm that edgy and that, which is also part of my act to cover my tracks.
Well, I was going to say, so that is the correct answer. I don't believe that it's true, but you do not tell your skeletons in the closet. That is the whole point. So you passed the test. I wanted to see if you would actually give something up. Of course you have a skeleton in the closet, but you can't tell what it is. You certainly can't tell what it is in a Red Lobster. So, of course, I don't have any skeletons in the closet either. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Everyone but me. So, since you're not willing to share yours, and I'm not willing to share mine, let's move on to the origin of skeleton in the closet.
Hit me.
So one theory is that prior to the Anatomy Act of 1832, which I know we're all very familiar with.
All versed in.
Right. Surgeons would have to illegally obtain cadavers. So this is true. There was actually a whole industry for procuring cadavers for science, for surgeons, for medical professionals.
So that's a real thing. I always thought that was just kind of like a horror movie trope of like grave robbers and stuff like that.
So grave robbers were real. And in fact, to the point where there were two gentlemen by the name of William Burke and William Hare, and you may have heard of them as just Burke and Hare, who were arrested and convicted of 10 killings in 1828 in Edinburgh, Scotland, related to this. So Scotland back then was known as sort of the forefront of medicine, believe it or not. And again, there weren't enough cadavers for medical professionals or scientists, whatever you would call them back then. So these guys, Burke and Hare, what they would do is essentially they had like the worst bed and breakfast ever. They would have lodgers. And this is the way it started. So before 1832, I mean, you had grave robbers that were going out, robbing graves to give to these people, and they were getting good money for them. They started creating these devices to keep, you know, coffins shut so that people couldn't do this. And so now where are you going to get the bodies? Well, it was actually legal to use the cadaver of a prisoner, suicide victim, couple more, but basically it was like very limited what you could use, which bodies you could use. So Burke and Hare were like, you know what? We're going to make our own business. So they had a lodger one time, and they realized that the lodger was getting sick, and they saw an opportunity. So once the lodger died, they sold to Robert Knox so that he could use it for dissection in his anatomy classes. Well, they got paid pretty well for that one body. They ended up doing this to 10 people, and they finally got caught.
Right. Before you share that, Lobsteritas.
Yeah, let's see Lobsteritas.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh.
At least I did that before I had.
Wow, look at the size of these.
Holy cow.
Holy.
Awesome.
That's huge, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. We all ready to order y'all's dinner?
I think we need a minute, actually. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Let's see. So they got away with this for a long time. They ended up killing 10 people that lodged in their, horrible bed and breakfast. They ended up getting busted by another I keep saying lodger. I've never said lodger this much in the span of 10 minutes. But
you never said cadaver this much.
I guess.
10 minutes.
No, I haven't. I've been yelling cadaver in a restaurant for 10 minutes. That's what's going to get us kicked out, not the mic. But they were finally busted by another who would have been, I guess, their next victim, somebody that was staying in the house, who opened a closet and saw the remains tucked back in the corner.
Get out of here.
And yeah, so that's what busted them, and that is a real story. And we have another theory of what it could mean, but first we just got our Lobsteritas, and I'm both impressed and disappointed. I'm impressed. I mean, these are huge.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed. It's just a margarita. I mean, it's just a margarita, right? It's
But
not.
is it?
I don't know. I don't see any like bits of lobster.
Yeah, maybe there is. And maybe all right, let's have a sip.
All right, cheers.
It's a margarita.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So before you do the next thing.
Yes.
So they actually, that is true that someone opened, because that sounds like someone opened a closet and saw a body. Because that sounds like something out of like a bad like 70s.
It sounds like
It doesn't-
like a movie, or what did you call one time? We were talking about movies, and you said it was more like a
Trope.
yeah, it's like a trope, but it's actually real. And these guys, Burke and Harry, you can look them up, and they literally did this.
How long did the bed and breakfast thing? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was in 1830. Well, it was sometime before 1832 before they changed this law, and I believe it happened within the span of like a year, if I remember correctly. It was not a long period of time.
Yeah.
But they sold these and they made money, and I mean, like I said, there was a whole industry of stealing bodies and
You
doing
got to
things.
get in when the market's hot.
That's right, and these guys did. So, the other theory about where the term comes from is just that there's been an actual murder in the family, and if you think back to like going back to sort of true crime with like H.H. Holmes and stuff, I mean, you could get away with anything back then. I mean, think about that. And so, let's say there was an accident. Maybe you had a family member you didn't like.
Yeah.
So just in general, the idea that there were so many of these murders that were happening that they would have to actually hide the body so that generations to come, somebody was going to eventually find that.
I think I'm ready. Do you need a few more minutes?
No, let's go ahead.
Okay. If I could just get the jumbo, that's where to go. Nope. Parrot Isle jumbo coconut shrimp, please.
And 2 sides there.
I've spilled all over my. The sides on the back, or they down?
On the back.
Can I see the back here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with fresh broccoli and mashed potatoes, please.
Gotcha, no problem.
I will get the Baja Shrimp Bowl.
Gotcha, no problem. Did you want me to get these menus?
You can take this one, and
Yeah, I
you're
think
going to throw this on the way.
I think I destroyed this one.
Throw all of them in the trash.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, good.
good,
Well,
good.
I gave that one a head start.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
good.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Bro.
So basically the idea being that so many people had dead bodies in their house that they had to literally hide them in the closet, and you would eventually have to find out. But really, if you think about that one, it gets a little bit more toward the true way that we use it as a metaphor, where everyone has some skeleton in the closet except for us.
Yeah.
And the idea about it being a generational thing is very interesting. So this was probably my favorite part of this one, which is the saying didn't come from Robert Knox and Burke and Hare. The saying came after that, and it probably didn't come with a bunch of actual dead bodies being in houses, and you'd eventually finally find that skeleton in the closet. In fact, this one originated in England, and the word closet was used more like water closet, more like a bathroom. So that's kind of interesting. So to this day, in England, they say skeleton in the cupboard.
Okay.
Also, sort of the use of cupboard is a little bit different than we use it. But we say skeleton in the closet. But what I like is that I was looking at Worldwide Words and Phrase Finder. Phrase Finder points out that this idea of everyone having a skeleton in the closet really plays on sort of the Victorian fears and anxiety that were out there. So you look at Gothic Victorian stories such as those written by Edgar Allan Poe, and a theme that comes up with him a lot is a body or bones or something being hidden away, right? So we've got the Telltale Heart, of course. We've got The Fall of the House of Usher, which is a fun one to read, and Black Cat,
Yeah.
I love Edgar Allan Poe, and I can see where this whole idea of a skeleton in the closet would be something that would catch on. Are you a Poe guy, Steve?
I had a Poe phase.
Yeah.
I liked him. And if you get a chance, if you're in Richmond, have you ever been to the Poe Museum?
I have not.
So, now that I've said it, I haven't. But during an internship I did many, many years ago, around the time of my last Virginia Beach Red Lobster visit,
Yeah.
there was the group, I think it was actually some sort of Poe relatives that I ran across as some sort of government.
Really?
And they look like what in your head you imagine
Right.
the family of Edgar Allan Poe look like.
Yeah.
They look like they stepped out of an Addams Family cartoon. It was
Really?
hilarious. Like they looked
So
like...
wait, how did you just bumped into them, or did
It was something that the Virginia governor was promoting.
Okay.
And
That's
or
cool.
there's some sort of recognition they would get. Because, the governor's office of every state all the time is sending out proclamations for this and that. So
Yeah.
I think there was some sort of anniversary date had come by or some milestone had been hit.
Yeah.
But they were involved. But it was if you had drawn them out in the same way that skeleton in the closet sounds like a bad cliche.
Right.
That's what this group of people look like. Very nice, but just
That is interesting. And I do feel like I've had this conversation a bunch of times with Richmond people.
Mhm.
Have you been? I'm like, no, I keep meaning to. And they're like, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Eventually we should go. But that's cool that you actually met their descendants and that they looked like they could be from him. And by the way, that is there's certain things I do that I try. So I have got all these nieces and younger sisters, and I try to give them quality stuff to replace their stuff that I don't like personally. So for example, one of my sisters got a record player, and I got her, I think a Pixies record. Of course, I know it never gets listened to. I remember giving one of my nieces, who was into Goosebumps and things like that.
Yeah.
I gave her an Edgar Allan Poe short story book, and that was one of the few times she came back to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you! This was the greatest thing ever." So it's definitely good to go through an Edgar Allan Poe phase. So when I looked at Worldwide Words and Phrase Finder, they both said, actually, in the words of, I always like to take Michael Quinian's exact words when he debunks something. So he said, after the first two theories about so many people having dead bodies in their house, or the cadaver deal with Burke and Hare, he said, quote, "We may disregard those tales." So that shows you what he thought. Not that they didn't happen, but that they were not what was responsible for Skeleton's Closet. So Phrase Finder and Worldwide Words agreed that the term was popularized, or the phrase was popularized, by William Makepeace Thackeray.
Okay.
And because also, so in 1845 is when Edgar Allan Poe wrote Black Cat, where they find a woman and they find her bones sort of mummified in a wall.
Yeah.
It's the same year that William Makepeace Thackeray twice used the term very popularly. So he said in a book, I don't remember which one, that there's a skeleton in every man's house. Which the first thing I thought of, that's a lyric from the Counting Crows. I was like, hey man, don't knock the Counting Crows. Nope. They're literate. And then also he used the phrase "skeletons in the closet" in a short story he wrote for a magazine. So William Makepeace Thackeray, playing on the sort of, it's not like this is something we have to think about much anymore. You and I don't sit around and go, wonder what's happening with the bodies. We've got everything down to a science now.
Yeah.
Back then, it was people stealing bodies, people going in and stealing jewels, all these other things.
Well, maybe even they weren't even sure if people were dead. You had the
Saved by the Bell. You had the whole contraption. So
Mm-hmm.
that whole thing was a big deal, and so it's no surprise that around 1845 this term got popularized, and more importantly, Steve and I have nothing to hide and no skeletons in the closet. So, Steve, it is a new holiday season, or Halloween season, I should say. Tell us about the hot, popular Halloween costumes this year.
You got it.
If you don't mind.
It is my favorite time of year
to
discuss Halloween and sexy costumes, and I'm not on my hot spot yet. So
do you want to take a break now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to leave that food there. I don't want anything else. I can't.
I didn't want to make your car smell like Red Lobster.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
So we were hearing the conversation from the kid that was 2 booths over.
Gosh, that kid.
I think we made the right decision.
Kidney punch in the face. Thank you, ma'am.
That's the lobster you're talking.
Okay, I'm gonna meet you outside.
Alright, so we're going to go to Spirit. What are we doing at Spirit Halloween? Are we going to record while we're in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm able to see some live sexy Halloween costumes. Uh-huh. I think the last part of this is just going to be us making like painful groan sounds.
Well, that's going to be this part.
Oh
unless,
my gosh.
Unless we do get that big bite. All right.
Put my seatbelt on. All right, so hot take. We're out of Red Lobster. We had to stop our. Yeah.
Oh.
You're recording, aren't you?
No.
Oh, I thought we did a 1, 2, 3 in there.
I thought that was just for you to say the food's coming. I took a leak and stuff, so I didn't record all that. My bad.
You want me to stop? Because
you
can
keep going.
Well, because you can just then get the hey, our food's here, then get rid of it. So I'll stop.
No, don't stop. We'll keep going. It's fine. I'm gonna have to match all this shit up. That's gonna be the nightmare of it, but that's all right.
All right. So do you want to be quiet for a minute? Then we'll say, ding a bell or something. Ding.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we're back.
Oh, all right. So we had to abort our remaining recording in the restaurant because it got very crowded, especially for a Monday. And we had some very nice but throaty older ladies sitting behind us who actually I wish we had voices as good as them.
It was kind of fun because we were so in tune to it. I was sitting there listening to every word, and one of the first things she said was, "Do you like salmon?" And that's when I was like, we're not going to be able to record anymore. But we did record at least a full segment in Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Steve, I have a few thoughts and takeaways from the experience.
Hit me.
But yeah, okay. So first of all, didn't get into this earlier, but I found online. I was looking up Red Lobster in the news, and I found an article that, did you know, Red Lobster, they're doing so well in one certain demographic. And I wonder if you had to guess, what's the demographic that Red Lobster is crushing it in? What would you guess?
Biracial couples that are dating.
Ooh, that's a good guess. But no, millennials. Millennials love Red Lobster. And you know why, based on this article that I read?
Lobsteritas?
Not the Lobsteritas, which let's bookmark that topic and get back to that.
Yes.
Because, so there was an article where I don't know if it was the CEO of Red Lobster was being interviewed or somebody, and they were saying, you know, what do you attribute the success of Red Lobster with millennials to? And he goes, I really have no idea. He said, we don't even market to that demographic. And the article's point was that that's why they're doing so well, because millennials are sort of discovering Red Lobster on their own. They're not getting marketed to at all. So take that, ad wizards. You got to do the Costanza, not market to, go do the opposite of what you would think to do. So anyway, so here's what, I haven't been to Red Lobster since the last time I was there when your parents were laughing at the guy with terrible gas.
But I have more sympathy for that guy now.
Yeah.
Because, so the crowd actually was a lot different than I thought it would be. I thought it would be
way less diverse than what you were.
Yeah. A lot of older white people, which was surprising.
Yeah.
And
No millennials.
The food was not that bad until about 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
And you and I were just talking about how, like, we were very pleasantly surprised. I had some coconut jumbo shrimp. You had something.
I had a shrimp bowl, which is basically like you took a chipotle burrito. I can't even say chipotle. Chipotle burrito, and dumped it into a bowl and then put some shrimp in there. But it was good. Like, I mean that in a good way.
And I enjoyed my food too until about 4 minutes after we had that conversation, and you and I both started acting like we were injected with something, and I think all the sodium hit. I feel like I just drank the Atlantic Ocean right now.
Well, that's the thing. Doing my Red Lobster research, they had pointed out the fact that, like, one of the quote unquote healthiest things on the menu is the steamed clams.
Right.
And that the steamed clams, if you were to eat the whole thing, had 1,000 milligrams more sodium than your daily max limit.
Right.
Which, by the way, keep in mind, it's not a daily recommended dose. That is the daily maximum you're supposed to have. So you and I are redlining right now on sodium.
And I'm not kidding. Any grunts or weird sounds, or Lord knows what's gonna happen to my voice. Like, I'm thirsty. Like, I want water really bad. That was intense. So the food wasn't bad, but that sodium was incredible. And I also want it noted that I got broccoli and ate all the broccoli.
Steve ate his broccoli. Yeah. And so let's talk about the Lobsterita. We're trying to be positive here.
Yeah.
You know, the food was, I'll say the food and atmosphere, I'd say it was better than I thought going into it. I don't think that we were trying to find scary places. It wasn't scary. The Lobsterita, though, left a little bit to be desired. And by a little, I mean tequila. Because it tasted like somebody took some margarita mix and dumped it into a vat and then poured it into a huge margarita glass that did not, it was very weak, which is maybe is for the best, but
being,
it was all right.
Being positive, I will say the presentation was really nice of it. Like, I became my true self, which is like a mid-40s-year-old bloated woman, and was like, oh, you know, maybe we'll get dessert after this. You know, I was intrigued by the presentation. I thought it worked for me.
I liked when the guy dumped the margarita onto the table.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you?
That was me clumsily handling it and
I wanted to blame the server.
No, won't do that to their heroes. They're on the front line. So, oh my gosh.
So are we going to 7-Eleven now or what?
We are, you know what, I'm warming to 7-Eleven.
All right.
But I want to get some more stuff recorded.
This is the Halloween spooktacular. We got to do something scary.
Well, my thought is we got to talk about some sexy Halloween costumes.
Oh, that's right. That's what we were supposed to be doing.
But I'm out of the house for once. Let's go to one of those Spirit Halloween stores and see what sexy costumes look like live.
Yeah. We can, well, hold on now. Are we gonna be trolling for some, hey, can you try this on? We want to see how it works?
Yeah.
Or, no.
Or we should try them on and see, like, if we expand as we put the clothes on, as the sodium makes its way through our body.
I could go as a sexy guy that just ate at Red Lobster. Actually, that's what I just am.
Yeah,
I don't even need an outfit for that.
I think you're wearing it. I don't know if I can get my outfit off. I might have to be cut out of my clothes.
So, just to let you know what you're in for the rest of this episode, we're going to talk about the sexiest Halloween costumes of 2020. Or not sexiest, the best. The word sexy will come up, I'm sure, a lot.
Well, just because I'm here, it'll come up.
Yes, and the segment that we're going to do. And then Steve's still got some creepy Halloween content as well. Before we do or do not go to 7-Eleven and face our fears head on. I will say it's dark outside now, so it is.
It's getting a little creepy. I wonder how much sodium you can have before, like, an event is triggered in your body.
I don't know, but, like, my fingers and toes are numb. Is that normal? Is this how I find out I've got diabetes?
Yeah. Or maybe you,
Or something else.
Or it killed something else off. You might have almost had diabetes, and now whatever was in the
Lobsterita
pumped it out.
Yeah. Okay, back to the Lobsterita. I know you want to keep things. I don't know. By the way, I don't know why you want to keep things so like Red Lobster doesn't need the bad PR from us, I guess. But I gotta say, I was hoping for some, like, at least I understand there's not going to be actual lobster in the Lobsterita. Like, I did figure that would be the case. But, like, do one of those little stick-on things on the side that looks like a lobster. You know, like one of those little, like, suction cup thingies with a little lobster hanging off. Put a lobster toothpick in there. It was just a big, weak margarita that cost $9.
$8.99.
That's right.
That was not.
Oh, you're right. This Spirit Halloween is no longer in the Circuit City. It used to be in the Circuit City.
I thought we were going to have to go somewhere else, but
this is the former Golf Galaxy.
How did that go out of business?
Yeah, good question. I guess you would think people would be playing golf.
Did they move down the street?
Yeah, there's a Golf Galaxy down west.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's what that is.
You know, didn't want to get too into the Golf Galaxy weeds, but yeah, there's a Golf Galaxy down west, and now we're going to go into Spirit Halloween, and we don't have a plan, so this will be fun.
Yeah. You want a Tic Tac?
I'll have a Tic Tac, sure. Thank you.
Oh, a couple.
Whenever someone offers you a Tic Tac and it gives you 5, they're trying to tell you something.
No, I took 6. If that made you feel better. All right.
This is also good pod.
With a bunch of mint clanging around in our mouth. Or
maybe the mint will go in and, like, take out the sodium.
It'll probably give us diabetes back. We probably have the sodium offset.
My body's already used to the diabetes. I don't need the Lobsteritas or whatever I've got now.
All right. So let's see if we can find some sexy costumes immediately. So, Scoops Ahoy. Oh, that's Stranger Things. That could be sexy, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I assume everything.
I think that's supposed to be sexy. Are you kidding me?
So let's see. So there's Sexy Lady of the Dead. Day of the Dead Beauty. Yeah, it's attractive, but that's not skanky enough. Keep moving. So it's definitely Sexy Chucky.
This is all throwback stuff, though. We need to find, like, what's the trendy...
Yeah.
I do like the good guy sweater, though.
We look up on we can look and compare as we look on yandy.com. So the first one I'm finding on yandy.com could be for men. Here's the Yandy men's Ride or Die costume, which is a very
overtly homosexual. Oh wait, overtly gay.
Yeah, get it right. And that guy is there will be some riding.
Not sexy Mario. No, he's not sexy. He's just Mario. My bad. False alarm.
And they can't call it Mario. They call it Sexy Sauce Monkey.
Yeah.
Would be the name. All right.
So I just want to point out here that we look, as the kids say, sus right now. It's 2 grown men with headphones in, walking around. Lots of kids in here, too.
Looking at cop uniforms.
Saying the word sexy over and over.
Well,
but you know what the good news is? We smell like Tic Tacs. So...
So here's the
classic
Catholic section.
Catholicism motif.
We'll report.
We got Jesus. Really?
There's Sinful Sister for Sexy Nun. I guess it's good. There's no Sexy Jesus costume, but
I've never seen just the straight up Jesus costume.
Yeah.
Cutthroat Captain. I don't know, man. Something sus about this guy.
Excuse us. All right, so back to now away from children. so we can discuss some of the popular sexy costumes. So number one on Yandy as of today, it's Cruella Intentions. It's basically a sexy Cruella de Vil.
Okay.
But I have to say is pretty, leaves a lot to the imagination. It's not really that skanky.
Yeah, so far I'm I don't know if I should say I'm let down, but
You're let down. But this will get you back up. The blast off astronaut costume.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So that could be a Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
She would fit right into that spaceship.
That's probably what everyone on the
Yeah.
on the Bezos penis ship was dressed like. Now one that's
This
just,
music is horrible, by the way. I would be remiss if I did not comment. What is this?
it's probably Spirit Halloween.
There must be a Spirit Halloween channel on like Sirius XM.
So just a classic, but I gotta say it's pretty hack. Lone Star Leader costume.
What could that be in reference to?
Babies. I like the spider baby.
It was worth it coming in here just to hear, I like the spider baby. You don't hear that too often.
Now this one I gotta give credit for, of just being, I'd say, newer, as it comes up.
Wow, it's sexy popcorn.
Buttery Babe costume.
Okay, that's the best one we've seen yet. That's number one right now in the rankings.
All right, I say we move on.
All right, we came, we saw, we did Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
Steve's just trying to put off 7-Eleven. All right, so I gotta ask, since we're both parents, what's the age you think it's appropriate to bring your kid to a Spirit Halloween?
Well, based on what we just saw, which was we just saw a parent bring their kid in while recording them, their probably 4-year-old daughter, to see a man with a chainsaw who also growls at you in case your kid's not scared. And I think, if anything, I'm disappointed that the kid wasn't that scared. Like, this is nothing. She probably has seen much worse, that wasn't something that'll scar her for life. So
I guarantee those people were there for opening night of Candyman with the kid.
With the kid, who didn't even have a nap that day. Would make sure they were nice and cranky.
That I judge more for that.
Yeah.
You got to give that kid a nap.
Yeah.
All right.
So that, honestly, that was pretty disappointing, but I think also, like, my parenting hackles are up because of that guy.
Let me
that ass clown.
let's stop this.
You want me to stop mine too?
Yeah, let's.
And we're back after Spirit Halloween, but the sodium is still, I think my body's leveling out a little bit. It might be the self-righteousness influx I have after watching that ass clown try to scare his daughter on a Monday night too. Not that there's any really good night to like bring your kid to Spirit Halloween when they're 4, but like that seemed intentional of hey.
That thing scared me.
Yeah.
That poor little girl, she's scared for real. Yeah. But anyway, no, I was gonna say no judgment, but we're clearly judging that guy.
Obviously judging.
I have a friend. So my friend Cassidy, who you know, has told me that she's really into horror movies, and she said that her mom showed her The Grudge when she was like 7 or 8 or something. And that it was so scarring that like she thought about it like all the time. She thought it was like real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she thought about that little weird kid from The Grudge. And you know, it's like I don't know how to respond to something like that. I'm like, well, I'm sorry that happened to you. And she said, oh no, it's okay. Then it basically, I was terrorized for years, but now I'm like really into horror stuff, so it's worth it. And it's like that's how resilient kids are, you know. Like probably wasn't the best move, for mom to show her that, but she doesn't sit back and blame her mom for it. I do, but
oh yeah, I will. Not my mom. She probably runs that Spirit Halloween we just came from.
She might.
Oh. So sodium's still there. It's the self-righteousness.
I feel
going down.
sluggish. I feel full of sodium and sluggish. I think we were so worried about getting stabbed in a 7-Eleven parking lot that we got snuck up on by the scrimps full of sodium.
I wonder if that helps if we get shot at 7-Eleven. Like, does sodium help your blood clot better?
It'll just help our bodies be preserved better, probably. Well, maybe it does. All right, let's. I'm going to look this up since we're just sort of taking a laissez-faire to recording tonight.
Yeah.
Laissez-faire approach. Amount of sodium in Red Lobster coconut shrimp. Uh-oh, the FBI wants to contact me for further questioning. Oh, wait, here we go. Huh. Sodium. Okay. Only... Oh, wait, this is per serving. Per serving, it's 1,620 milligrams, which is 68% of max daily value. Now the question is, how many servings?
So that there was a lot. So I ate half.
You didn't eat the whole thing. No, you probably ate a heavy half. I'd say.
Let's be. It was. I'd say it's sick. It was more than half, but it wasn't like 75%.
That's not too bad. And what did I? Well, this is not good pot. So let's just assume mine had just as much or more.
Yeah, let's assume that whatever we did was not good and not sustainable. Because it's making me really like crave like something sweet. It's almost like some sort of weird thing that makes you like make more bad decisions, like when you drink too much.
Yep.
And you're like, you don't go home and have a salad.
You're like, let me balance this sodium out with some ice cream.
Yeah.
And then you just want to be put out of your misery.
Yeah.
Something to help you go to sleep.
Oh,
Bourbon.
that would be good.
And then you wonder why the next day you feel a little sluggish.
Look how packed that place is.
Kick back.
Packed tonight.
Packed. A lot of people blacked in.
Gosh, man. Who are all these assholes going out on a Monday night other than us? Because obviously we're a-holes.
It's football season, man. Look, Kickback Jacks.
Oh, that's right.
Kickback Jacks is a place that you just can't go anymore. I used to actually like it when it first popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So that location, they've had so many different things there. And then when Kickback Jacks popped up, I was like, oh, look at this. Lots of TVs, good beer selection, casual dining fare. I can take a break from Buffalo Wild Wings every once in a while.
Yeah.
But now it's not only that it's always packed, because there's been a couple times where I've thought I might check it out. It's also like the inmates are running the asylum. Like it is nuts in there, man. It is like I tried to walk in and it's like people talking about. It's like walking into like jail if there was a bar. So I don't know. You just have to visualize it for yourself. It's wild.
It sounds like you're already planning the 2022.
Oh shoot! Oh, we should go. No, we're not doing
Let's see. Let's get through 7-Eleven first.
We already had a Lobsterita, and we're
yeah.
been shot up with sodium.
If we're actually driving, I mean, there's a chance that we're both in some weird hallucinogenic
fever dream.
Yeah. In the parking lot.
Well, so if you want to get in trouble in West End of Richmond, you got your different flavors that you can go with. You can go with Kickback Jacks and get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because some guy's going to come up to you and tell you how he owns this place and he owns the streets of Richmond. You know what I'm saying? Like, and get real aggressive with you as if you've like said, no, you don't own the streets of Richmond. Like that will happen. Something like that will happen, and you'll have to like, take a side. Is this guy as hard as he thinks he is, or not? Like you're gonna, and the answer is yes. Or you can go to Beach House and get in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah.
Things that have happened at Beach House. Well, I won't list them all, but I will say a lot of potentially illegal things. A lot of bad people that go there.
Yeah. But
there was a time when you and I, we'd hit up Beach House after work for a $3 Miller Lite or something.
Yeah.
But you just can't go there anymore. So now we're limited to Red Lobster? No, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna keep my streak alive. I'm going back to not. When was the last time I was at Red Lobster? At least 22 years ago. So I'll see you when I'm 65. Yeah. All right, let's just set the stage. It's a big bright moon in the sky. It's pitch black, and we're in a poorly lit 7-Eleven. And Steve's right now.
I'm going to park somewhere that makes this even more awkward.
Trying to figure out where to park.
I'm going to make a parking spot in this thing and just tempt people.
Okay.
To come.
So Steve has decided he's going to park and block the air machine.
Yep.
The one place that we're guaranteed to have people come up and tell us to move. So I say if we're looking for scary, you've done it.
You've done it here. I'll blame the sodium trance I'm in right now. Well, you've done a great job of sharing a very good Halloween-themed idiom of skeleton in the closet. So I'm going to share a word. It's not really an idiom, but it's bone-themed, keeping with your skeleton and keeping scary. And what's good about it, too, is it really sounds dirty, but it's not.
You had me at bone. Bone-themed.
I knew I would. So my term is... bone polisher.
Oh, wait, that's your term or that's your college nickname?
That was well played. And since we're in a 7-Eleven, if I was offended by that, I could take you out, and it would be accepted if I left your body by the air machine. So while I like this term because it sounds very dirty, it is actually a real term. So back to Green's dictionary slang. Bone polisher, a footman, any servant. The bones are ivory objects that require cleaning.
This all still sounds dirty.
It does. I still like that. So bone polisher is actually a real thing. First use in writing was in the year 1803. But where I think it became kind of popular and into the common use of language was on another page I had that said, just going to go with it. I saw some other notes that said it was first became used in writings by Mr. Charles Dickens, who I don't think was really renowned for his
gay
Halloween
erotica
works.
Oh, yeah.
But you never know. There could be some sort of, like they always find like a new Jimi Hendrix or
right.
That guy's got some small pants on. Or is that a lady?
I don't know. But he's grabbing his nuts, so it's probably a dude.
Yeah. He's got like a Woody Harrelson white men can jump hat on too. That was a thing.
This 7-Eleven, I don't think we should reveal exactly where it is, but every once in a while, this is the 7-Eleven I told you about where I had to like tell a nice lady, don't go in because there was some insane guy inside. You remember the whole scenario I talked about with Kickback Jacks where some guy's like trying to tell you how hard he is and how he runs the streets? Like that was happening inside this 7-Eleven. It's a motley crew.
So what type of car is that? Is that a Yaris?
It's got to be a Kia. It's a diarrhea green, or I don't know, maybe not diarrhea. It's a split pea soup green Kia.
Now you said the D word. That actually sounds like a good idea. That made me feel better.
That's how we'll
after
finish
all
the
of
show.
this. So for our scary episode, our original intention was to go to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Which we have, and we're still going to draw it out a little bit just in case someone takes a shot at us. We went to Red Lobster, which I say we went through like a cascade of emotions, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It was a lot better than I thought it would be. It's been a long time since I've been there. The Cheddar Bay Biscuits, you got to say objectively, are pretty good.
Cheddar Bay Biscuits were fantastic, worth the price of admission.
And the Lobsterita, good presentation, more, I guess, Rita than lobster or alcohol. And bone polisher, where it could be someone's nickname in college, definitely not mine, refers to someone who cleans cutlery, i.e. bones, and at some point was used by Charles Dickens, according to notes that I had that I can't access.
And quick update, one Cheddar Bay biscuit has 380 milligrams of sodium, and I had 16% of the maximum you should have for the day.
So I probably had 3 of those if we're being generous. Right. So I've had probably 2,000 milligrams or however they die.
My body can handle it because I eat like crap, but I think your body's right now is wondering what's going on.
Yeah, and so are all these people going through 7-Eleven.
The thing about this 7-Eleven is sorry to stop you, but every third or fourth person, I say every third and a half person that looks dangerous that walks out. That's the thing about this. It's not a fully. There are some 7-Elevens that you and I have probably grown up around or been around that. There's a high likelihood of getting stabbed or yelled at by an insane person. This one, it's like I said, every third or fourth person. Yeah.
Everybody keeps grabbing their junk when they get out of the
car.
car. Is that something? Do we all do that and I don't realize it till I sit there and watch people get out? Everyone's like...
We should call up the guys at Freakonomics because there's probably some subtle thing like that. People that go to 7-Eleven. Here's the thing I'd like to make really clear, though.
Yeah.
We are, and I'm doing it the most, really judging and making fun of these people.
Yeah.
We're the ones sitting in a 7-Eleven for no apparent reason in front of the air machine.
After we took in at least 2,000 milligrams of sodium in a 20-minute period.
So, yeah. I'm waiting for like a cop to come knock on our window, but I'm
gonna ask him to punch me in the stomach too, so I can shit myself and feel better. So on that note,
Bob's your uncle?
Watch out for bears and Kale is from the devil.
All right. We got it.